Have you ever met someone who seemed calm, polite, even friendly, but something about them made you feel uneasy? They smiled at you, but their words carried a hidden edge. They praised you, but somehow you walked away feeling smaller. They offered help, but later used that help to control you. They acted innocent, but everywhere they went, conflict followed. This is Law 16 from the Laws of Human Nature, the Law of Aggression. And the lesson is simple. Not all aggression looks aggressive. Sometimes it shouts, sometimes it intimidates, sometimes it attacks directly. But often, it smiles, it waits, it hides behind politeness. It disguises itself as concern, advice, humor, honesty, or even kindness. And that is what makes it so dangerous. Because when aggression is obvious, you can protect yourself. But when aggression is hidden, you doubt yourself. You ask, am I overthinking this? Maybe they didn't mean it that way. Maybe I'm being too sensitive. And while you are busy questioning your own instincts, they continue gaining power over you. Robert Greene's point in this law is not that some people are aggressive and others are innocent. It is deeper than that. Aggression is part of human nature. Every human being has desires. Every human being wants influence. Every human being wants some control over their life, their environment, their relationships, their future. And when people feel blocked, when they feel powerless, when they feel ignored, when they feel disrespected, that aggressive energy starts to rise. For some people, it becomes ambition. For some, it becomes discipline. For some, it becomes courage. But for others, it becomes manipulation. It becomes intimidation. It becomes passive aggression. It becomes the need to dominate people instead of mastering themselves. And this is where the danger begins. The aggressive person does not always look angry. In fact, many of the most dangerous aggressive people appear controlled. They are calm, they are strategic, they rarely lose their temper in public. They know how to speak softly, they know how to look reasonable, they know how to make you look emotional while they appear innocent. This is the sophisticated aggressor. They do not simply attack you, they pressure you, they corner you, they make you feel guilty, they make you feel afraid of disappointing them. They use charm when charm works, and force when force is needed. They can be generous one moment, cold the next. They can praise you, then withdraw approval until you start chasing it. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin adjusting your behavior around them. You speak more carefully. You avoid disagreeing. You try not to trigger them. You start managing their emotions, while they keep controlling the room. That is not respect. That is intimidation. One of the clearest signs of a chronic aggressor is their need for control. They do not simply want things done well. They want things done their way. They struggle with criticism. They struggle with disagreement. They struggle when someone else gets attention. They struggle when they are not the center of influence. And because they cannot admit this insecurity directly, they often create a story. They say they are misunderstood. They say they are only trying to help. They say they are surrounded by fools. They say their enemies are jealous. They say they are fighting for a greater cause. But look carefully. Do they always have enemies? Do they always have someone to blame? Do they always explain their harsh behavior as necessary? Do they demand loyalty while giving very little empathy in return? Do people around them look relaxed or nervous? That last question matters, because aggressive people often leave emotional evidence. The people around them become tense, careful, quiet. They laugh at jokes that are not funny. They agree too quickly. They avoid honest feedback. They look like people trying to survive the mood of one person, and that tells you more than any speech. Now there is another kind of aggression, less obvious, more common, and sometimes more frustrating. Passive aggression. This is aggression with a mask on. The passive-aggressive person does not openly say, "I'm angry, I'm jealous, I want control, I want to punish you." Instead, they express hostility indirectly. They delay, they forget, they make subtle comments, they give fake compliments, they agree in words, but resist in action. They say, "I'm fine," but their tone says, "You should feel guilty." They say, "Do whatever you want, but punish you afterwards for doing it." They say, "I was only joking," after saying something designed to hurt you. This is what makes passive aggression so confusing. There is always deniability. You cannot easily prove it. If you confront them, they act shocked. They say, "What do you mean?" "You're imagining things." "I didn't mean it like that." "You're too sensitive." And now the focus shifts away from their behaviour onto your reaction. That is the trap. So how do you deal with passive aggression? First, stop reacting emotionally to every single incident, because one incident can always be explained away. Anyone can be late once. Anyone can forget once. Anyone can make an awkward comment once. But patterns reveal truth. Do not focus on the apology. Focus on the repetition. Do not focus on what they say they meant. Focus on the effect they keep creating. If someone repeatedly makes you feel confused, guilty, small, or emotionally off balance, pay attention. Second, do not over-explain yourself. Passive-aggressive people often want long emotional conversations because those conversations give them more material. They want you defending yourself. They want you proving your innocence. They want you frustrated. Keep your response calm and specific. Say, "When this happens, it creates this result. I need this done by this time." Let's be clear about expectations. No drama, no accusation, no emotional performance, just clarity. Because clarity destroys passive aggression. It removes the fog they hide inside. Third, set consequences. Not threats, consequences. There is a difference. A threat is emotional. A consequence is calm. A threat says, "You'll regret this." A consequence says, "If this deadline is missed again, I'll assign it to someone else." A threat says, "Stop disrespecting me." A consequence says, "If the conversation continues with sarcasm, I'm ending it." This is how you protect yourself, not by becoming aggressive like them, but by becoming firm. Calm firmness is one of the most powerful responses to hidden hostility, because aggressive people feed on emotional reactions. They want fear, they want anger, they want confusion. They want you to lose control so they can say, "See, you're the problem." Do not give them that gift. Now let's turn the mirror back on ourselves. Because this law is not only about spotting aggression in other people, it is also about understanding your own aggressive energy. Many people hear the word aggression and think it is automatically bad, but aggression itself is not the enemy. Uncontrolled aggression is destructive. Repressed aggression is dangerous. Passive aggression is manipulative, but controlled aggression can be powerful. Controlled aggression becomes ambition. It becomes persistence. It becomes courage. It becomes the ability to stand up for yourself. It becomes the energy to attack problems instead of avoiding them. It becomes the fire that helps you build something meaningful. The problem is not that you have aggressive energy. The problem is not knowing how to channel it. Think about a child learning to walk. The child falls, gets up, falls again, gets up again. That is aggression in its purest form. Not violence, not cruelty, but life force. A refusal to stay down, a refusal to accept defeat, a hunger to move forward. But as we get older, many of us lose that. We become afraid of conflict, afraid of criticism, afraid of standing out, afraid of asking for more, afraid of being seen as selfish. So we push our aggression down. We act overly nice. We say yes when we mean no. We tolerate disrespect. We avoid difficult conversations. We pretend we are peaceful, when really we are afraid. And then the energy does not disappear. It turns inward. It becomes resentment, self-sabotage, bitterness, quiet anger, or it leaks out sideways as sarcasm, delay, avoidance, or emotional withdrawal. That is why you must not repress your aggression. You must refine it. Use aggression as ambition. Be honest about what you want. Do not pretend you have no desire for success, recognition, money, influence, love, respect, or achievement. You are human. You want your life to matter. There is nothing wrong with that, but make your ambition specific. Do not simply say, "I want success." Say, "I want to build this skill. I want to create this project. I want to improve this part of my life." I want to become this kind of person. Vague ambition becomes endless hunger. Specific ambition becomes direction. Use aggression as persistence. Most people give up too early. Not because they are incapable, but because their energy breaks before the obstacle does. They try once, they fail. They take the failure personally, then they retreat. But controlled aggression says, try again. Change the angle. Learn from the failure. Strike again. Not blindly, not emotionally, but steadily. There is a kind of power in refusing to collapse after the first resistance. The world often opens not to the most talented person, but to the person who keeps applying pressure after others stop. Use aggression as fearlessness. This does not mean becoming rude. It does not mean attacking people. It means you stop abandoning yourself just to keep the peace. You say what needs to be said. You ask for what you have earned. You set boundaries. You disagree when disagreement is necessary. You stop letting stronger personalities define reality for you. You do not need to dominate others, but you must not allow others to dominate you. That is controlled aggression, quiet, firm, self-respecting. And finally, use anger correctly. Anger is not always bad. Sometimes anger tells you that a boundary has been crossed. Sometimes anger tells you that something unjust has happened. Sometimes anger gives you energy when you are becoming passive. But raw anger burns fast. It explodes, then disappears. Controlled anger is different. It cools, it focuses, it becomes strategy. Instead of shouting, you plan. Instead of reacting, you build leverage. Instead of trying to win one emotional moment, you win the larger battle. That is maturity. So the lesson of Law 16 is not, become aggressive. And it is not, assume everyone is evil. The lesson is, see clearly. Do not be fooled by the friendly facade. Do not ignore patterns. Do not let charm blind you to control. Do not let passive aggression make you doubt your instincts. And do not be ashamed of your own assertive energy. Because the same force that can destroy relationships can also build a life. The same fire that makes one person manipulative can make another person disciplined. The same anger that makes one person cruel can make another person courageous. The difference is awareness. So today ask yourself, where am I ignoring hidden hostility? Where am I making excuses for someone's repeated behaviour? Where am I allowing fear of conflict to make me weak? And where have I repressed my own ambition, persistence and courage because I was afraid of being judged? Because in life, you will meet aggressive people. Some will be loud, some will be charming, some will be passive, some will smile while trying to control you. Your job is not to panic. Your job is to observe, stay calm, look for patterns, protect your energy, and channel your own aggression into something higher. This is Law 16, the law of aggression. See the hostility behind the friendly facade. Do not let aggressive people make you emotional. Do not let passive-aggressive people make you confused. And do not let your own fear make you powerless. Turn aggression into ambition. Turn anger into strategy. Turn pressure into persistence. And turn your life into proof. That power does not have to be loud, to be real. If this lesson gave you something to think about, take a second to like the video. It helps the channel reach more people who need these ideas. And subscribe for more lessons from the laws of human nature, because the better you understand people, the harder it becomes for them to control you.